Let's continue our conversation with former CIA analyst Fred Fleitz, who Skypes in from Washington, and also here from our South Florida anchor desk, our friend, former CIA case officer Fred Rustmann. Gentlemen, to you both, thanks for staying here. To Fred Fleitz, the international community starting to speak out about the release of this report, human rights groups calling for the prosecution of officials who sanctioned this CIA program. Here's what Ben Emerson, an international human rights lawyer, had to say, quoting now, "It is now time to take action. The individuals responsible for the criminal conspiracy must be brought to justice and must face criminal penalties commensurate with the gravity of their crimes." Fred Fleitz, CIA officers accused of war crimes, courtesy of this Senate report?
This is really laughable, JD, and these guys would prosecute George Bush if he showed up in the wrong country. Let's keep in mind that a special prosecutor was named by the Obama administration to look into this program. It closed its inquiry in 2012 with no prosecutions, no legal action was taken. These guys are always going to want to prosecute the United States for one thing or another. It's not a surprise they're jumping on this one.
Fred Rustmann, let me get your reaction to what transpires in the international community, perhaps most infamously at the UN and the International Court at The Hague. Is this as predictable as Fred Fleitz points out?
It is. And I am sure glad I don't work there anymore. We talked about in the mid-'70s the Church and Pike committees and how risk-averse this caused the agency to become. And we've never recovered from that totally. And this is going to just make it worse. We're going to become risk-averse. Our liaison partners are not going to be as cooperative with us. We're shooting ourselves in the foot. We're the tip of the spear here. We're fighting the enemy alongside of our military. What is with these people? I don't understand it.
And let me return to Fred Fleitz in Washington. About 2 minutes left, really more like a minute 30, Fred. This situation, to have international, quote, human rights lawyers wanting to put Americans in the docket when the Islamo-fascists we face, by and large, are not part of nation states, don't observe the conventions of warfare, and engage in the ultimate torture of beheading hostages they take. Why this double standard excusing the Islamo-fascists?
I wish I could explain that, JD, but it goes back a long time. And when I talk about President Bush being in fear of arrest in certain countries, I'm not joking. That we know that due to a bizarre legal theory being practiced in the European Union, Donald Rumsfeld and George Bush, there's certain countries they don't visit because there may be a secret indictment against them once they land in their country. Israeli officials are also subject to that. I suspect that Michael Hayden and other CIA officials named in this report will be subject to secret indictments by European countries and will have to avoid traveling to certain places for fear of being arrested, possibly in relation to the International Criminal Court.
And with 30 seconds, Fred Rustmann, that prompts this question. What on earth do Americans do to reassert their sovereignty? How do we get any respect from the international community?
Well, our respect is diminishing rapidly, and it has just taken a jump off the precipice. But I'm like Fred, I'm concerned about this, but I'm not as concerned with George Bush traveling in these prisons. I'm concerned with the CIA case officer. That's the guy that we're putting in jeopardy in this, and his job has just become a lot harder.
And does the CIA now morph into a big bureaucracy, ineffective in terms of intelligence? One of the implications, America's Forum continues.